Hi there, it's Tina Stitches. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and more cross stitch. Very little other crafty stuff, but every once in a while you'll see maybe a quilt, maybe some knitting or crocheting, but I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't think I've done any knitting or crocheting since I started this channel 5 or so years ago, 4 plus anyways, and I don't have any plans to do anything in the near future, so you probably won't see any knitting or crocheting. Maybe some quilting. I have a quilt in my head. I started an English paper piecing project a couple years ago. I've shared that. I haven't touched it in a long time. So I have a vision of what I want it to be. Making it happen, finding the time to make it happen has been a challenge. So, c'est la vie. And yeah, I've been working on a lot of cross stitch. I have a finish, not an FFO, but an FO. I even went and ironed it for you. I don't iron very often, but this one really needed an iron. So there's that. I have a whip. I have 2 whips. Actually, the fourth whip work in progress that I'm going to show you has also attained a milestone. Aside from it being 5 years in the works, it celebrated its 5th birthday August 13th. By the way, today is August the 29th. It is 5 in the evening. And yeah, so it's 5 years old, and I just finished page 30 something. I honestly have not been counting the pages. I'm using Pattern Keeper, so I think it's like page 35 of 49 that are done. So I have that to share, and 2 other whips that I've been working on. I did bring out a previous finish to share. This is something that I worked on when my children were little. They are now fully grown, and when we moved from, actually no, before we even moved, I had asked my youngest son, does he really want this in his room? And he said no. So I was like, okay, then I'm putting it in my craft room. So this is something that I stitched and finished in 2001. It is Teresa Wensler, and you might recognize it because Sarah, the Stitchin' Mommy, is working on it right now for her son. And this is really badly framed. I bought a store-bought piece of artwork, ripped out the artwork to reuse the frame. It's only being held in with 3 little nails, and it's badly laced. But here is Dragon Rider by Teresa Wensler from Stitcher's World magazine. I cannot remember the issue number or date, but it was finished in 2001, so I'm going to guess that the date would be about 1999, one of those issues. I believe it was a Christmas issue. like a December issue. I stitched this with the called for colors, and the little dragon rider guy is 1/1. I did not stitch the border because I did not think my piece of fabric was big enough for the border, so I knew right from the beginning I was not going to do it. And I'm looking at what is left of the fabric, and I probably could have squeezed the border on there, but it would have been really tight, because yeah, that's the fabric. 28 count Monaco, looks like white. So yeah, when I get my craft room back, I will be hanging this up in there. I mean, now that he has his own house, I should ask him if he wants it, but I think that the chances he wants it are going to be fairly close to 0. So that's a oldie but goodie. So now, let's get into the current whips. I have notes here. I was working on the monthly magazine challenge, and I have not updated I haven't gone to the Facebook group to update any progress, you know, to say, here are my letters, here's what I've done. But this is all just for me to put some variety into my stitching, touch my various projects, and hopefully get some of them finished. I'm looking at the camera and I'm wondering if the lighting is going to be weird because of the curtain behind me, but we'll work with it. I only have so much time, so. And I know a lot of people have asked, what is that behind me? Because I sit in this spot quite often, and this is a giant teapot. It's a planter, and it has Alice in Wonderland little figures in it. The washing machine went into spin. Sorry about that. So it's a planter. I've tried putting plants in it, but I keep killing them. I've tried cactuses. They die. I've tried succulents. They die. I need to find something that's very hardy, such as the asparagus fern that I got over there, and I have another very hardy plant in the kitchen. Yeah, because I really do like it. This is a light that we got to put up in the stairway because it sits right in front of a window, this stairway, so it'll look really cool when the light's up. And china cabinet with dishes not unpacked yet, because that's not where the china cabinet's supposed to go. So anyways, back to what am I working on? So monthly magazine challenge group has got me to work on different projects. The cross stick is a word where you pick a project and work on that for as many hours or stitches as you pick. The challenge is just for yourself, and the theme is something that has to be from a magazine. So it was bird. I did Teresa Wentzler's Welcome, which I showed you in my last update. The acrostic was sunflower, and I had done the S and O and F for Owl Forest. I still needed UNLER. So for U, I picked UFO and I made it an FO. And for E, I picked embroidery scissors. For R, I picked Riolis. And for N, I didn't have anything done, but I did work on Cassiopeia, so I put down Nora for Nora Corbett. The only one that I haven't done is L, and I'm going to be working on Lettre to Gigi, and that is already set up at my chair, so I can just sit down and work on it, because I do want to get it some attention. So that will be the only one that I have left to do for the August monthly magazine challenge, and I have 3 days to do that. Today is Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. Any progress will be good. But so for the ones that I did do, I will show you. Well, the only one I can show you is R for Riolis, and I'm not sure where it was when you last saw it, because I think I only picked it up once since my last video, and I don't have a before picture or an after. Here's what it's going to look like when it's finished. This is the Dawn Biscornu, D-A-W-N, by Riolis. I got it from 123 Stitch. It's a full kit. And I started to work on it for my lunchtime project, but then the Owl Forest embroidery Alice in Wonderland Sal came out, and that became my lunchtime project. So Biscornu got put to the side. Sarah and Kim from the Stitch and Stuff, they have a Flosstube, and they decided to do a Biscornu Sal, and I pulled this out to get some love on it. And most of this was already done. The green, mostly I worked over here. I'm not sure what I did last. Probably bringing the pink over here. But that's where it is now. It is stitched 1 thread over 1 full cross on 25 count Zweigart that came with the kit. Pretty sure it's Zweigart. Info is in there somewhere, but it's all rattly, and I know that can be bothersome. So the next project that I worked on, this is the lunchtime project that I was talking about. Owl Forest Embroideries Alice in Wonderland Sal, and I'm going to show you what part I'm working on. So I already had that part finished and the shoe, and I was working down here. It is still in the Q-snap, and here's where it is now. So it's getting there. I'm on part 8, I think, out of 10 that have been released. I think it's 10. I'm a little bit behind. I am stitching this with my own colors picked based on the DMC color list that they provide. So my house here is very purple because I believe I left the threads over there, but I picked a color that was similar to their DMC, and that would be Threadworks 1155. They call it white mushroom. I still like it. I also reversed, I don't know if you noticed, but I reversed the colors on the cookie slash cupcake because I feel like the cookie or cake would be a brown color with the purple icing. So I've reversed it. So that's Owl Forest. That was not even in the monthly magazine challenge, but it's my lunchtime project. That's where it is. So the next one that I have to show you, I got 2 page finishes since my last video. Now I have been stitching, you know, I stitch 20 to 30 rows all the way across and bring it down, so it's a long time before I see a page finish, but then I see 5 page finishes pretty consecutively, pretty close together. So this finishes off the entire row for this project. I am down to where I have a row and a half left to do. This is for Beloved by Adele Sessler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I would say here's where we were last time you saw it, but I'm not editing. But I did take it off of the frame. There it is. So this part over here was not quite finished. So this over here, mostly in the lighter colors, because I leave the lighter colors for, say, weekend stitching when I have more time and can pick anywhere I want to sit to get better light. So I did start a little bit down into the next page and discovered that somewhere over here there's a mistake. It doesn't really matter because it's not like it's, you know, her lips or something like that. It's just his furry coat's cuff. I'm going to move the needle minder and unroll it all the way. Look at that. Could almost just cut it right there and say done. Almost. I mean, do I really need all of this? I have all of this. It's very tempting. Very, very tempting. I mean, the subject is right there. Yeah, beautiful. 27 colors, I believe. And lots and lots of black. Most of what's left on this side here is black, and then this is her hair and part of his. So it'll be a while before you see this again, so enjoy it. I should take a picture of it for Instagram too, while it's unrolled. While it's not on the stand. So that's exciting to see it to the point where I can just say, just finish that little bit across the bottom and call it done. I mean, let me look at this again. Oops. It's worth considering, I think. I shouldn't think too hard about it. Just keep going. Just keep stitching it. It's beautiful. Another year, it'll be done. Or two. So, I have finished. It's been a while. Well, it hasn't been that long since I had a finish, but this is a bigger finish than just a scissor fob. Yeah, I think the last finish I had was the bee fob by Sweetheart Tree, which is beautiful, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed stitching on that until I got to the beads and couldn't make up my mind, and then decided, hey, what I did do was pretty fantastic, so keep going with it. This one is much bigger. I really want to get a frame. If I get a frame, it will have to be a black frame. I think would be the best. And you haven't seen this one for a while. Embroidery Scissors by Filigram. I bought this from European Cross Stitch because I had a different pattern sewing scissors, and they had the thread pack for embroidery scissors. So then I had to check out embroidery scissors, and it's a set basically. And so I bought the pattern and the thread pack for embroidery scissors, and I'm using the same color thread for both of the patterns, even though the one pattern called for a different color of pink I'm using the same piece of fabric for both. It is 28 count Petal, dried Petal by Fabric Flair, printed, so it's mottled on one side and white on the other. And here it is. Fully finished, well, not fully finished because it's not in a frame, but it has the ribbon embroidery. It's not ribbon embroidery, ribbon interlaced through the framework. I had to frog the border. I felt like, really? When I was working on this side here, this, like the third set of black stitches, was an extra stitch too low, and it's pretty repetitive. 3, then 2, 3, then 2, 3, then 2, 3, then 2. And I get down here and I run around the corner, and then I worked my way down here and come around the corner, and it didn't match. So I had to frog half of a border to redo it. So I would frog a length of thread and then restitch it in. I actually was able to reuse the black thread that was frogged out, and it looks good. I do want to put my initials on here. I'm thinking about right there. A couple of things of note. This is the bullion stitch. It says to stitch with one strand, so I had to Google it and learn how to do the bullion stitch from YouTube video, because their diagram, while it's right, sometimes it's better to watch somebody do it. And so I did it with the one strand like it was called for, but when you look at the picture, it's much thicker, so I'm pretty sure whoever stitched it used 2 strands. French knots, I don't believe their diagrams are good for the French knots. I did them the way I always do them, which maybe it's not even a French knot, but it's a colonial knot, but I haven't looked that up to see what the difference is. The other thing that it doesn't really give you good information on is the corners. It says to cut the corner, like snip the threads, remove the threads, and then at the back tie them together 2 at a time. Instead of doing that, which I guess would have worked because the ribbon would hide it, but no, they could still pop up. Instead of doing that, I wove the ends behind you can't really tell because the ribbon is hiding it, but I wove the ends back underneath, behind, on the back side of the fabric. And then the ribbon that comes over here, I took a piece of thread off the side and I wove it through and grabbed the ribbon, and then went up a couple stitches, came down, like just weaving it underneath, and then came down and did that. because I don't think it really, I mean, I can look at the directions again. I don't think it really gave clear directions on how to do the ribbon. I have a fly buzzing around me. But there it is. Just need a frame. And it's not a common size either. It's 9 by 13 opening that I'm going to need. So that's a custom frame. And the other project, the sewing scissors, is going to be the same size. And it's also one of those I need to get it finished. And that's how far I am, because that dress in that color made me hesitate about finishing it in that color. But after ironing the embroidery scissors, I pulled it out and I'm thinking I'm just gonna go ahead and use that color. So we'll see. I had pulled out a few other colors for that, but they don't quite work together. Because I am doing both of those patterns with the same silk, I did have to buy additional black, the black coral, because I ran out. So if you plan on doing the same thing, buy yourself a spare skein or two of black coral. Because remember, I'm not even done that sewing scissors yet. The scissors are done, there's just a lot of other little details. So that is all of my stitching for the last 2 weeks. Plans. Magazine Monthly Challenge Group has a bingo type event coming up. In addition to their regular theme and acrostic, they are doing ABC Ingo. And you pick a project and assign it a space, and you're trying to use all of the letters of the alphabet except for S, I believe, because they use 25 letters, because that's what fits in a 5 by 5 square, and so S was omitted. And then you just randomly place them on a board, 5 by 5 square. So here's mine. You can have one project fit all 25 squares if you can make it work. The goal is when they call the letter, let's say they call A, I put A right there, I'll have to work on Adia by Mirabilia. 1 hour or 100 stitches, and then I can cross that off. So I picked a lot of projects. I did not pick all of my projects. So everything with the star beside it is in the ABC Ingo. If it has a dot beside it, it's in the acrostic. And the theme fun and games, I only have one project from a magazine right now, and that is, no, I have two projects. I have Strawberries by Jeanette Douglas, and I have Welcome by Teresa Winsler. Strawberries, I mean, it doesn't really fit fun and games unless you say we like to eat strawberries when we're done playing our fun and games. But I thought, well, with Welcome being like a park setting, I think you can have fun and games at the park. That's how I'm making it fit. So in September, you'll see Welcome once again, and almost all of my other projects, because somehow or another they're in the ABC Ingo. My dog just skulked around the corner, so I'm not sure if she did something bad. So the other plans that I have is I am off for this week. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I am off for the week. My husband has a follow-up appointment in Thunder Bay to see the neurologist, the surgeon that did his spinal surgery on the 19th of July. So this is the follow-up to make sure that everything went swimmingly, and it did. It had to have, because before he could barely even walk, and now he is off doing plumbing and other home renovation type things for my sons. That's where they are now. I'm supposed to be monitoring him and making sure he's not lifting more than 10 pounds, but he's been very good at sticking to his restrictions, but every once in a while he tends to forget and goes to do something he shouldn't be doing. He has come back aching and such, but that area of his spine is not affected. It's just general aches from the different stretching poses and such that you have to do when you do plumbing in a kitchen. Yeah. They're replacing kitchen taps. It's not easy when the plumbing is not done properly. So having to put in shutoffs in a place where the water doesn't want to drain all the way, or the main shutoff doesn't shut off, so he's having fun. I shouldn't laugh. But it's delays like this that is keeping the oldest son from moving out, so I don't have my craft room. So they're over there right now doing drywall with the drywall hoist. I made sure I was able to get one of those lined up. So otherwise, not very much going on life-wise. We were under like a 2-month-long fire ban because of the insufficient amount of rain that we've been getting. But in the last 2 days, well, last week, we got some rain and the fire ban was lifted to an extent. Like, some areas still had a ban in effect, and now we've just had a nice good 24 hours of decent rain, so no more forest fires, I hope. I hope it helped with the fires that were going on, because they were quite extensive, quite long. We would get drifts of smoke for days. We could smell smoke. Not fun. So I think that pretty much covers all of my stitching, all of my updates. I hope to have another. I have two things that I really want to finish. One of them being sewing scissors, because I finished embroidery scissors, and if I focused on it, it wouldn't take long. And Crystal Christmas, because I have only got the beading to do on this, it shouldn't take too long. But it's big and awkward, and not a lot of, like, you can't really move the Q-snaps too much because you'll crush beads. So it did get neglected after I started the beads, and now that I'm off for a week, I'm thinking I'm going to set up the table and I'm going to bead this sitting here. So we'll see. The magazine challenge might keep me busy, and we'll see how it goes. So I guess that is it for me. And there was one more thing. Shoutouts. I wanted to shout out Candy, the 614 stitcher, 416 stitcher in Ohio. She is working on the Sunflower Fairy and asked for my help converting the Valdonis to other overdyes from her stash. She sent me some pictures. They look great. I know she's also doing a conversion for skin color to a more African American skin tone. I look forward to seeing that. And she's also under 1,000 subscribers. So go check her out, give her a boost. The other one is Tracy from Tracy's Craft House. She does full coverage. Full, I think. She's got Tilton Crafts, Disney villains. Pretty sure she has Gecko Rouge and Heaven and Earth designs for sure. She's also doing a Shannon Christine design, and I believe she's also under 1,000 subscribers. So go check her out. And I did get a bump in subscribers because of Leah Noel from the Aviatrix Stitcher. And I know that she is going dark, let's say. She has a lot of studying to do, so she's not going to be on social media very much for the next few months. And she's going to be sending me a stocking to finish. I can't wait to get that in my hot little hands and get that finished for her in time for Christmas. So if you want to see that, subscribe, like, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna get going because I know my dog is gonna start freaking out again, and I believe I've said everything that I need to say. So until next time, which should be 2 weeks, could be 1 week, could be 3 weeks, who knows. I'm trying to be consistent here. It's hard when there's multiple people living in the house and things going on. So We'll see. Until then, take care, be kind, happy stitching. Bye. This is my sad little teapot. I had some plants in there, but they don't survive. And that little birdie is actually supposed to be glued into his nest up here, but he keeps falling out. So that is what is sitting behind me when I film.